Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Miss Rogbarone's Art Room. Alright, so here's where we're picking up from. Hopefully we have finished our contour outline. Notice no shading at all, right? I've got those required elements. I've got overlap objects going in front of one another. I've got crop objects going off behind the border, right, where I don't see them anymore, and size variation, little objects versus big giant objects, right? All of this adds to create visual interest in my drawing and kind of an interesting composition to look at. Okay, so now it's time for us to refine our contour and fracture the space. And here's what I mean by that. You'll notice in my pencil style, I work very sketchy. I do like little kind of chicken scratch lines. So before we do anything else, what I'd like you to do is take time, okay, using your pencil, to go back and refine your lines. Now this doesn't mean make them darker, but what it means is you're now going to go back and clean up that chicken scratch and just give yourself one solid refined line to follow for your contour work. So it's going to involve working back and forth between the eraser and cleaning up your line work. Let me show you what that looks like on our class example. Right, so for example, my bunny, you can see all that chicken scratch, that sketchy line, and here's where I've started to clean up and refine the line. Right, so do you see the difference in that? Sure, it looks a little darker, but it's not just about darker, right? I've got one solid line going to follow, right? Even look at the bunny's arm. This one I've cleaned up, these I haven't yet. There's a real visible difference between it. Okay, so cleaned lines. Then once you've done that, you're ready to start breaking up the space. Let's talk about some options for how you can break up the space. You are required to use 5 lines, minimum 5 lines to break up your space. How you choose to break up that space is up to you, okay? Every artist is going to tackle this differently, all right? The simplest way is to just break up the background and not have the objects broken up. And what I mean by that is you can take your ruler, okay, or you can free draw this. You do not need to do straight lines. You can do free form lines. It's completely up to you. But it's to take your ruler and use that line to break up just the background and not fracture the toys, right? So it's just cutting through the background area. That's probably the simplest. 5 lines. So let's see, there's 2. Let's do another fracture, 3. Okay, so there's my 3rd line. Let's do a 4th here. Okay, and one more. We'll have a 5th kind of cutting through the bottom. Okay, boom, and right there, there's my required fractured lines happening on the background. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the second way that we can break up these lines. Instead of these lines going behind our object, what we can do is take our ruler or free draw, and you're going to have these lines, as you can see here, cut directly over top of your drawing, okay, like so. And actually, let me pull out my class sample, okay, to show you, ladies and gents, right? So you can see them, instead of going behind the objects, now they're cutting in front. And this just increases the complexity of the value shapes you'll have to shade. So see, in this case, instead of just going from edge to edge, I'm doing this kind of radiated thing out from the center, almost like broken glass in the middle, and it's shattered out. Okay, and I can even go through and add some more lines if I want, kind of coming from the edge across, from the edge out here, right? So 5 is the minimum, but you can certainly add more than that. So what does this look like when we get to shading? Well, when we get to shading, this is what gives us that fractured effect in the background, as well as over top of our objects if you choose to do that. Right, we're going to have lots of these beautiful complex shapes to add that shading to. Whether you do a mixture of black and white, right, a monochromatic color and black and white, or just straight black and white, right? Lots of different ways to shade this. And in fact, this year I've already discussed with this group that instead of having a mixture of black and white, I'm actually going to do a full color one this year because I haven't done one before. So try something new and different. Okay, so again, just to recap, start by refining those lines, right? Take sketchy lines like on my bunny and turn them nice and clean. It's not just about being a little bit darker, it's about having one clean, crisp edge to follow. And then you're going to decide how to break up that space, either just the background or a little bit more adventurous over top of the whole drawing. Okay, thanks for watching, ladies and gents. See you next time in our art room.